and also make sure that you guys get as much information from him as we can in his 25 minutes. So I'm very grateful that Jeff Olson has joined us on the call. Many of you guys might know that Jeff Roberti, as you know, invited me to a conference, and I had been working for 3 weeks straight teaching the life mastery programs that I love and adore. And Jeff's like, look, you need to come to this conference. And I had every excuse not to go to conference. And I actually did not go for the whole conference. I'm like, fine, I'll go for one day. And I went on I showed up on Friday night, went to the Eltons, then showed up and was there all day Saturday. And the last speaker was Jeff Olson. And I would just have to give credit to Jeff a lot. Jeff, you're really, it made me say yes to the business, not just the products. So I owe a lot to you, as do a lot of people on this call. Because if it weren't for you and your amazing presentation, I don't know if I would have said yes to this business. So a little bit about Jeff. Wow. He is Jeff Olson, RLT, I know what that means, is a business and social entrepreneur. After retired from professional athletics, he had successful stints in the financial and technology world. In 2000, he and his wife co-founded the Well Nourished Worldwide as a health food agency in partnership with Juice Plus Company. They deliver a new standard in consumption, production, and distribution of health food. In addition, he is co-founder to the Atlas Farms vertical aeroponics greenhouse, and he'll share that with you. He's a great philanthropist. He's a 2-time Olympian, 3-time national champion, and Pan American gold medalist. And he has two TED Talks and featured speaker, teacher, and author around the country. And he lives in Denver with his beautiful wife and their 3 daughters. And how perfect! Olivia planned this just perfectly for you to be on during the Olympics. I know it's not the Winter Olympics and Summer Olympics, but hey, she was perfect timing with regards to that. And we've got a lot of people that are athletes on the phone and just amazing fans of you. And I just really respect you, how you really walk your talk. So, Lev, I'm going to just ask you a couple questions, and then I'm going to forward it on to Mo. But Jeff, you know, I mean, you and your wife are really successful with Juice Plus, and you're successful in so many areas of your life. Why Juice Plus? Like, why did you even say yes to the business first? And then you can talk about the product.
So business, yeah. Well, first of all, thank you, Lauren, for those great words. It's great to be on your call. I look up to you as well. And you never know whose live you're going to, you know, it's the whole what if video of Lauren. You never know whose live you're going to impact when you, I guess, care enough to open your mouth and share what comes from your heart. So, you know, the words that I shared at conference, they meant something to you, and that means a lot to me. So thank you. I guess the business side, why bother? What got my attention? I came out of professional athletics. Then I, retired. I got my BS in finance, heavy in BS, and I did what I was supposed to do. I thought, as an alpha male, I was supposed to go chase money. So I got into the investment world, the financial world. Made a great income, had a great big expense account, was traveling the country in the financial industry, and I thought I had landed pretty well after being a professional athlete with a great job. It was a great job, but it was a job. I was working for the man. I was traveling a great deal. My wife and I, she's magna summa cum laude. I married up. She's the brains of the family. She had left the corporate world when we started having kids. And I did what a guy is supposed to do, is provide for his family and be the provider. And a lot of identity and who we are gets wrapped up as guys in what we're doing. And so I did, so I was in the investment management business, the financial business. When we started having children, I was traveling a lot. I didn't want to be a 30% dad in terms of my time being around. So I made a course adjustment, got into another financial business, and then the .coms came along, and I had an opportunity to land in Denver. That brought us from Park City, Utah to Denver, and the .coms software company in the financial industry. So I parlayed a bit of my past, and that's kind of what you do in the corporate world. You you take your resume and you trade up, and you take your resume and you trade up, and try to play that game up the corporate ladder. So I was in the .com business and running institutional sales department. And long story short there is the 30-year-old, we sold out to our public competitor. The 30-year-old who started the company, wrote the software, walked away with about $40 million, and I got a pink slip because I didn't have some things in writing. So I learned a lot of lessons, a lot of character building. Long story short is in the course of that .com, we had been introduced to Juice Plus. Made immediate sense to me, which I'll share my product story later. But my wife took on the business. I was skeptical. I was happy for her. I was saying, you go, girl. You got your little thing to do at home. I thought it was a home, fuzzy, warm, fuzzy thing. I didn't do business in the living room. I did business in the boardroom. I didn't really understand. I was intellectually ignorant, blah, blah, blah. Long and the short of it is I didn't know what I didn't know. But I was happy for my wife. I made sense to me as a consumer, but I just couldn't see how these little itty bitty fruit and vegetable powders could provide for my family, let alone send them to college and pay for 3 weddings. I got 3 daughters and just have the life that we wanted to lead. So long story short is I went through a lot of mental gymnastics. I was very skeptical about network marketing, but she started paying the mortgage. With her little itty bitty Juice Plus check, and then she started paying the car payment. So if you're trying to get someone you love and care about interested or curious or captivated, start paying the mortgage or get a comma in your paycheck. And the long story short is, it started out as her business and it quickly became our business as soon as I saw, there maybe was this path for me out of being an indentured servant in the corporate world. And maybe here was a way, sort of low risk, high return, a way to sort of exercise my entrepreneurial gene, which kind of came out of athletics with my wife. And that was 10 years ago. So fast forward 10 years later, we have a life that people dream about. We have free time. We've got quality of life. We've got an opportunity to make a difference. And I'm continually learning from people like you and others. And so, but I came slow to the business. I was very skeptical. But as I said, here's the number one thing, and I'll kind of end there, is the hardest thing for me to do in this business was surrender. The ego I had to cut, or the aorta I had to cut, was my ego. Surrendering to this tried and proven system is hard for a lot of people. A lot of people come in with a big long resume. They want to jump in, dive in, reinvent the wheel. Social media is allowed for a lot of that creative play, but we have a tried and proven aerodynamic system. And once someone said aerodynamic, I kind of surrendered to the brain damage that's gone before us to try to make this a well-oiled machine with some experiment. And I kind of plugged in and surrendered into this tried and proven system, and I've never looked back. Now, as you know, our job is to pay it forward and gift this life to others. So that's the business side of my story.
Sorry, I was on mute. Awesome.
No worries.
So I have a question. What if one of your daughters decided that they wanted to join you in the business instead of going to college, or what would you say to them?
Well, I would encourage them to do both. I think there's a lot. I mean, you don't have to go to college. I think there's a lot of growing up that occurs in college. Sometimes it's an expensive proposition. But I think as a parent, I would love nothing more than for our daughters to join us in the business. As it turns out, my daughter's a freshman in college now, and she wants to do this Juice Plus business. She's already talking about how she can get her business going. So I guess what I would say is it's really, college is kind of...
Sorry, did you get my question? Did you get my question before you lost me?
I just got the college question.
Oh. What was the difference that made the difference for you to get your ego out of the way? What was it? Was there an event? Was there a defining moment? Was there something said? What was the difference? I'm going to pass it over to Mo in a minute just because I'm losing internet. But what was the difference for you that made the difference of shit, I need to get out of my own way? What was it?
Well, for me, I came kind of to the end of my rope. I was like, this is a real business in the real world, making a real difference, one person at a time. And you get to a place where you kind of got to look at yourself in the mirror and that inconvenient truth when no one else is around and saying, same product, same business, same industry. Like, what's your problem, Jeff? And I was not plugging into the system. And so at that point, and then again, when I launched into the business, I tried to do things my way, and I stumbled and I bumbled and I fumbled, mumbled, and was humbled. But that's okay, right? That's where learning occurs. That's where the adaptive response occurs. I mean, I understood I could deal with failing, and I failed very elegantly in my own mind, but probably miserably to the outside world. But I learned, and ultimately, I don't think there was one event. I think I had to beat my head against the wall quite a bit before I really realized that, man, I think the only thing I can point to was someone named it. Words are powerful, and I thought tried and proven system meant I was constrained into a box. And when someone said, Jeff, it's just aerodynamic, like that triggered my brain to like a liberating, oh, aerodynamic, I get it now, and I was on my way. So.
I don't know if Lauren.
I guess the follow up, just wrap it up on if your child wants to join. I mean, I would say, I would encourage them to do both. But if they really are passionate about doing Juice Plus full time, why would I want to you can always go to school. I mean, you want to lean into where your child's passion is, and if they want to hit this hard, then why not let them? They can always go to school. So. I took 10 years to get through college, so it's not like there's there's no time limit to getting your degree in college.
I agree. So you have a big tower garden project going on. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, you can check it out. It's altiusfarms.com. Altius is Greek for higher. That comes out of the Olympic Charter. Faster, higher, stronger is the Olympic motto. Citius, Fortius, Altius. It's Altius. Altiusfarms.com. My partner is a businesswoman who's coming into farming. We've launched a 40-tower farm, a small farm in Denver, and an 80-tower farm, and this one's going to be near 1,000 towers. So it's taken several years. We've had a lot of fits and starts, but now that the Juice Plus company owns the commercial division of the technology, basically future growing, I know they're going to be making a lot of announcements about that merger at St. Louis. So if you're interested in that side at all, you want to be in St. Louis, they're going to have some big announcements. But yeah, we've been tasking on a big farm for a couple of years now, and I've got a lot of experiential insight into what works and what doesn't. But if you want to learn more about that, get yourself to St. Louis.
So I'm curious about the farm. Is that going to be a farm that you're going to help neighborhoods, or is it a farm? It's going to be. We're selling to restaurants. We're going to be training veterans. The idea is how you scale local food. How do you scale local food? I did a TED Talk on the Tower Garden project. If you just Google Jeff Olson and Victory Gardens and TED, it'll come up. It's on the website. I speak to this technology. I speak to scaling food locally. I speak to, bringing business into, this. In the end, what would Steve Jobs do if he was a farmer? I can assure you he would challenge the status quo. He would grow beautiful food. When you saw it and tasted it, you'd go, wow. So the long story short is we're going to be selling to restaurants, we're going to be training veterans, and we're going to be, a community participant right in downtown Denver. So we're really excited about it. But again, this is not an experiment. This is going on all over the country, and we're just, we're into our third farm here in Denver. So we're excited. That's really exciting. It's exciting to be a part of the Tower Garden project too.
Yeah.
Around the world.
Yeah, we're just getting started. When Jay Martin stands up in front of 7,000 people and say, "This is our next billion-dollar product," he's done $1 billion in smoke and fire detectors. He's done 8 or 9, 10 billion in plant powders, Juice Plus. Might want to pay attention. He's got a pretty good track record. So we got a lot of work to do to get to $1 billion in Tower Garden sales.
Lucky us, lucky world, huh?
Right. Exactly.
So what would you say is your most favorite part about being in the Juice Plus company?
The most favorite part is,
besides working with me.
Yeah, look, in the end, we've got widgets that make a difference in the world and they're cool, but, in the end, who do you get to play, who are you playing with in the sandbox? in the end, that makes it rewarding. Every time I go to a boot camp or a national conference or an event, we see the community. I've become, some of our closest friends now are in this business. You start to hang out with the right people. You hang, as I think as the saying goes, your income is a reflection of, the dozen people you hang out with. And if you spiral up hanging out with people, something happens. And so, I think the culture is extraordinary. I think Gordon Hester calls it a cleansing. When he comes from outside industry into our little bubble, it is a bubble. And it's a bubble in a really good way. And most people don't know what that means until they get in and they marinate. I had to marinate in this whole conversation. And, you don't find that. You don't find this win-win sort of mentality. So for me, the reward is the people, but I have a personal why of doing this business. I have a professional why of doing this business. I think it's important to have a personal why and a professional why. It's kind of heads and tails. One of my goals is to help pull sports nutrition into the 21st century, to make produce concentrates standard of care in medicine. I mean, we got the exclusive distribution rights to kind of the iPhone, in our category. We're global leaders in our category in vertical aeroponics and produce concentrates. And, we've been given the exclusive distribution rights to toothpaste in a tube, and, oh, by the way, we're Crest, So our job is to go distinguish these categories, and then, we're the brand leader. So I get excited just as a competitive weapon, as a competitive advantage. We have products that no one else has, and that's competitive from an entrepreneurial standpoint. So my why is competitive, my why is professional, my why is personal, and then I get to hang out with cool people like all you. So
I have a question. So you have a huge map behind you there of the world.
Yes.
And as you sit there, does your mind go crazy thinking, where else am I going to go? Where else can we take this? And
well, yeah, I mean, we have
staring at you. I'm like, oh, we got to get in that country and that country.
Yeah, I mean, Juice Plus is 23 countries. There's a lot more countries than 23. We haven't opened Brazil or Russia or China or India. I mean, that's all fine, well, and good. I know Lauren's got a huge international business. I want to be like her when I grow up and have an international business like that and, write it off when I travel. So I met my wife in Europe. We love to travel. My daughter just got back from Norway and Denmark. We did some international traveling earlier this year. So traveling's in the blood. And when you go to Europe or you go to Australia or you go to, you can plug into this Juice Plus family. It's pretty extraordinary. So we've done a lot of traveling, and we've stayed at a lot of Juice Plus friends' homes along the way, as have our team. They travel around as well. So in terms of Juice Plus, hang on. The next 10 years, global growth will continue.
Really quick, it is 6:49, so I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much, Jeff. Lo wanted you to do one more thing if possible, and it was to choose someone on our call tonight to give 10 GoPro books to. Not 1, 10.
You want me to choose?
Yeah, you. The
well, I can only see 2 people. I can only see you and one other person.
Watch. Better?
Hang on. No, I can only see. Oh, wait a second. Let me change the view here. Oh, my goodness. I got to get my glasses on for this one. Yowza. Holy cow. You want me? That's not fair. Are you kidding me?
Just close your eyes and pick one like that.
Oh, my gosh. Really? All right, Effie. Effie said hi with her hands. I pick Effie.
All right. Excellent. Effie, please send me all your information on Facebook. If we're not friends, friend me. And Jeff, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I really did time this perfectly with the Olympics going on. I don't know, that was an accident, but.
Yeah, no problem. I got about 5 minutes left, so I don't know if there's any.
Yeah. Anyone have any questions? Honestly, please let me know.
Is there one tip that you could give to somebody that's stuck?
That's stuck?
That knows this is the right place, right time, and all that, but they're still stuck.
Yeah. Put your head down and soldier on. I mean, getting, so if you think about athletics, I come out of athletics, and maybe I'll end with just some observations on human nutrition and sports performance. But, it's in the, it's where does evolution occur? It occurs in struggle. It occurs in conflict. It occurs in that mess. And that mess is when most people quit. That mess and that struggle is when most people say, this is too harder than I thought. Yeah, it is hard. I mean, 6 figures, 5 figures, multiple, you know. So I guess what I'm saying is if you're stuck, reach up. Don't complain down. I mean, you know, seek your upline. Seek, you know, find the people that are, you know, that you are attracted to, that you admire, that and start pinging them and Facebooking them and 3-way calling with them. You're going to break through. And I will tell you, I learned this from my mentor, Dr. Mitra Ray. There's no problem in this business that can't be solved by a couple new customers and a new distributor on fire. There is no problem at all. No problem, zero, no problem at all in this business that can't be solved by a few new customers and a brand new distributor who's on fire. So in the end, you know, we're in the business of retailing and recruiting. So keep on retailing and keep on recruiting. And if you are a student and you commit to that work, you're going to break through your little speed bump. Look, there's no Super Bowl in our business. There is no Olympic Games in our business. There's no Kentucky Derby in our business. It's all just practice. So keep on practicing, and eventually your practice is going to become your practice, meaning you're going to get really good at doing what you do, and your batting average is going to go up. So if you're stuck, go back to the training, but more importantly, go back to the doing. And it's in activity that you're going to break through, I can assure you.
Great advice. Thank you.
You bet.
I know there's 2 minutes. I'm just curious. Can you tell us just a little bit about the science with the athleticism and Juice Plus?
Yeah.
Like benefits?
Well, let me do this really quickly. If you go to a website called if you go to a website, it's www.healthfoodagents, plural, healthfoodagents.com. You scroll to the bottom, and you'll see at the bottom on your phone or on the website, you see a little acronym at the bottom banner. It'll say HPN, stands for Human Performance Nutrition. If you just click on that, that's a secret link into a website that I set up just to talk to athletes and talk to about sports nutrition. There's a blind spot in sports nutrition. It's the 3rd pillar. I speak to the 3rd pillar. The 1st pillar is carbs and proteins. The 3rd pillar is phytochemicals, and what does that do? It conditions function. And what do I mean by that? I unpackage that a little bit. There's a webinar on there. But I think performance is prevention, and prevention is performance. And we as a company have mastered prevention. I think we have a huge opportunity as a company now to bring to life the performance narrative. I mean, when the body works, and when it works when you want it to work, like pregnancy, that's human performance. Human performance is better circulation for a diabetic. But in the end, conditioning function, conditioning physiology is a function of cramming more plant matter and phytochemicals into your body. And what that does to an athlete is that delivers and improves and escalates and elevates recovery, the adaptive response. And when you have better recovery, faster recovery, and a greater adaptive response, you're more durable as an athlete. And durability is the end game, because you compete about 1% of your life. It's the other 99% that you got to show up and train hard and break your body and break down. And it's in the breaking down, that's not where the gains are. That's not where the gains occur. The breaking down, whether it's in your business or in your body, the breaking down is not where it occurs. It's in the recovery. It's in that adaptive response. And what causes that body to recover up is the phytochemicals, the tens of thousands of molecules that combine just in time to deliver a faster adaptive and recovery response. And that gives you durability. You can train hard, and you take 2 steps forward and you take 1 step back. So go to that website. It's healthfoodagents.com. Scroll down, hit HPN, and there's a whole conversation there for you.
Thank you, Jeff. I know you have to go. So
My pleasure. Thank you so much. And reach out to me on Facebook. I'll see you all in St. Louis.
Yes. Bye. Thank you.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Jeff.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
You bet.
Good night. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
And then one thing led to another, and then I started, that started becoming